For 3 days, they heard it, a strange, otherworldly whistling on the far side of the moon. It wasn't static. It wasn't a malfunction. Inside their command module, orbiting hundreds of thousands of miles from Earth, astronauts Tom Stafford and John Young exchanged confused, then concerned, glances. This peculiar sound, a sustained, whistling music, seemed to defy explanation, especially given where they were. Behind the moon, utterly cut off from all terrestrial radio signals. The year was 1969, just 2 months before Apollo 11 would make history. Apollo 10 was the dress rehearsal, a crucial mission to test the lunar module in lunar orbit and scout landing sites. Stafford, Young, and Gene Cernan were orbiting the moon, performing maneuvers that would pave the way for humanity's first steps on another celestial body. But it was during the time they were out of radio contact with Earth, circling the lunar far side, that the phenomenon began. Inside the command module, Charlie Brown, Stafford, and Young, who were in orbit while Cernan descended in the lunar module Snoopy, suddenly picked up an anomalous signal. Imagine being in the quietest, most isolated place humanity had ever been, and then hearing something no one else could explain. The transcript of their conversation, long classified, reveals their initial reaction, a mix of disbelief, wonder, and a touch of professional anxiety. "You hear that whistling sound?" Young asked Stafford. "It sounds like, outer spacewide type music." Stafford agreed, confirming he heard it too. This wasn't just a brief blip. It continued for nearly an hour during each pass behind the moon. Over 3 days, they heard it multiple times. The far side of the moon is a truly unique environment for radio signals. Its bulk acts as a perfect shield, blocking all Earth-based transmissions. This is why radio observatories are proposed for the far side to listen to the universe without terrestrial interference. But it also meant any signal picked up there was truly extraordinary. The astronauts tried to rationalize it. Was it interference? A malfunction in their communications gear? But the sound was consistent, almost rhythmic. It wasn't random noise, and it only occurred when they were on the far side, cut off from Earth, when their comm system should have been silent except for internal chatter. Upon their return, the incident was noted in mission reports, and the recordings were transcribed. For decades, these transcripts and the audio itself remained tucked away in NASA archives, largely unremarked upon by the public. It was just one of many anomalous observations from the pioneering days of spaceflight. Then, in 2008, the full audio recording, alongside the transcript, was declassified. Years later, in 2016, a documentary brought this peculiar incident to wider attention, sparking a fresh wave of public fascination and speculation about the source of the music. Conspiracy theories, as they often do with unexplained phenomena, quickly emerged. Some suggested extraterrestrial communication, a signal from an unknown intelligence. Others whispered about secret government projects or classified lunar bases. The idea of music on the moon was simply too compelling for mundane explanations. But NASA, while initially classifying the recordings, eventually offered a technical explanation. They theorized the music was likely due to interference between the command module's VHF radio and the lunar module's VHF radio. Even though the lunar module was hundreds of miles away, its radio could still produce leakage. The specific setup of the Apollo 10 mission, with both modules in close proximity during lunar orbit and their independent VHF radios operating, created a unique environment. These radios, designed to communicate with each other, could potentially have created a phenomenon called intermodule interference. When the two VHF radios were operating simultaneously, and one was transmitting while the other was receiving, the electrical signals could have bled into each other, creating an audible tone or whistle. It's similar to the feedback you might hear if you hold a microphone too close to a speaker. Furthermore, the specific shielding and wiring of early spacecraft weren't as sophisticated as modern designs. Unshielded cables or components could act as unintended antennas, picking up stray electromagnetic signals from nearby systems and converting them into audible sounds within the astronauts' headsets. The fact that the sound only occurred when the command module was behind the moon out of Earth's radio range is also consistent with this theory. Without the strong, constant signal from Earth to drown out or mask such internal interference, the faint music became noticeable. Had they been in constant contact with Earth, the music might have been dismissed as background noise or simply lost amidst the chatter. But in the profound silence of the lunar far side, it stood out starkly, demanding their attention. It's important to remember the context. This was 1969. Space travel was still in its infancy. Every mission was a grand experiment, pushing the boundaries of technology and human endurance. Anomalies were expected, even if they weren't fully understood at the time. The astronauts themselves, seasoned test pilots, understood this. They were trained to observe, report, and maintain composure in the face of the unexpected. Their conversation, while initially surprised, quickly shifted to analytical questions about the source of the sound. So, was it truly music from space? Not in the mystical sense some hoped for. More likely, it was a fascinating byproduct of pioneering technology in an unprecedented environment. A reminder that even in the most meticulously planned missions, the universe can still throw unexpected curveballs. The Apollo 10 music serves as a captivating footnote in the history of space exploration. It's a testament to the strange and wonderful things that can happen when humanity ventures into the unknown, pushing the limits of our understanding and our technology. It's also a great example of how a seemingly mysterious event, once stripped of its sensationalism, can reveal the underlying complexities and challenges of early spaceflight engineering. The universe is full of wonders, but sometimes the most intriguing mysteries are of our own making. The music wasn't aliens. It wasn't a secret message. It was, most likely, the sound of two pieces of groundbreaking human technology designed to work together, interacting in a way nobody quite anticipated, far from home, on the silent side of the moon. And perhaps, in its own way, that's just as profound. A reminder that even the most advanced machines can have their own peculiar voices, especially when tasked with an impossible journey. To explore another fascinating tale from the dawn of the space age, click on our video about the Gemini program's forgotten challenges.